why a Miami and Florida State move to the SEC isn't impossible. Why I actually do believe that these moves are certainly in the realm of possibility now that Oklahoma and Texas has officially made their plans to try to join the SEC, right? So we all know what happened on Monday is that Oklahoma and Texas pretty much made their claim. They pretty much went to the SEC and tried to get it in. For the most part, the marriage, the papers are almost in. The marriage papers are almost in. And those two schools probably by the end, maybe by 2022, maybe 23, 24, hell, even maybe 2025, will join. So pretty much the next 3 to 4 years, those two schools will be in the SEC. But a lot of people's concerns, a lot of the hardcore college football faithful is that conferences alignments, it's just going to create super leagues. And I do believe that that is in the realm of possibility. Now, on my live stream, had a conversation about Miami potentially joining the SEC, about Florida State potentially joining the SEC, and I definitely believe that is in the realm of possibility, right? One of the biggest reasons why is simply because it is. Number one is money. Number two is recruiting. That's the two biggest factors. And when you look at the Miami Hurricanes, if they were able to join the SEC, just the reputation of the SEC alone, I think it's a huge boost for recruiting, right? If you take a look at the SEC, if you take a look at the rankings, matter of fact, I'll take that back. Look at the SEC rankings, especially when it comes to recruiting. At least eight, an average of 8 teams are in the top 25 from the SEC, and that's discrediting some of the other lowly schools like Vanderbilt, like Kentucky, that are not powerhouses. They're more, they're not powerhouses, especially Kentucky, which is more of a basketball school, but still they can recruit at a pretty high level compared to some of the other college football superpowers, like Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a brand. They are a big brand. Boise State is a brand, but we see Kentucky out there out recruiting those schools simply because of the reputation of being in the SEC conference. Kids love playing in the SEC. When it comes to screen time, when it comes to revenue, the brand name, and most importantly, again, how many times have we seen before where you can, I just give you an example of a running back, right? You can rush for 700, 800, 900 rushing yards, and you can still be a first-round pick compared to if you play for, let's just say, a regular Pac-12 school and you can rush for 1,500 yards. You won't be, the SEC runner actually has a little bit more advantage only because of the reputation that the SEC is a much tougher conference. It's a mini NFL. Therefore, that running back has an advantage when it comes to draft time over a Pac-12 running back or even a non-Group of 5 runner, which how many times have we seen running backs rush for almost 2,000 yards and yet they end up being undrafted or 6th or 7th round picks compared to SEC. Again, that's just a mini example, but that's just one of the other that's just one of the advantages that the SEC has over everybody else. And now that Texas and Oklahoma are potentially joining this conference, again, when it comes to brands, when it comes to television, when it comes to potential game days, because game days plays a huge factor, especially in the morning times. It's a lot of millions upon people love to view it. Early kind of morning ritual before the Saturday in college football. And then, of course, the 3:30, 7 o'clock times on CBS, which, again, when it comes to those viewership rankings, even Fox, only Fox can't even reach that. Only ESPN will probably match that on ABC. That's probably the only network that can match it. Besides that, CBS is an absolute killer when it comes to broadcast time and when it comes to revenue and stuff like that. So, again, if Miami and Florida State ever join the SEC, also rivalries, right? Well, let's talk about rivalries. Can you imagine Miami versus Florida on an annual, yearly basis? Can you imagine Florida State versus Florida? Well, of course, that's already into place. But still, just the annual kind of rivalries that will be set in between those three particular schools will be absolutely off the chain. And again, we got to go talk about brand. We got to talk about revenue and recruiting advantages, even though they're going to go against everybody else. Simply just the advantage that they're in the SEC and they're also in a hot recruiting area. They're in a gold mine in the state of Florida. I do believe that it does give Florida State and Miami, I think it does give them a little bit of a bump compared to competing with a lot of the other schools like the Alabamas and the Ohio States and kind of the LSUs and and of the world when it comes to stealing their kids and going elsewhere. So overall wise, I know this is just a hypothetical, but this honestly could happen potentially if Miami and Florida State wanted to, right? I think all the benefits are particularly there. I think the most important part is the recruiting avenues would definitely be there. I think definitely, when you look at Texas moving to the SEC potentially, right? Texas and A&M for the most part, I think will be on an even playing field when it comes to recruiting advantages. And I definitely believe that right now Miami, even though they had a pretty good recruiting class last year, it was 11th best in the country compared to schools like Florida that annually have top 10 recruiting classes. And Miami wants to get to that point where they can start recruiting at a particularly high level on a yearly basis. So let me know how you guys feel about it, about Miami and Florida State potentially making their turn to the SEC conference. Again, you never know what could potentially happen. I had a great conversation about this a little bit earlier, and I do definitely believe that, hey, anything at this point is in the realm of possibility when it comes to college football. But let me know below the comments, and we can definitely talk about it there. Anyway, Jan Sports, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.